What's up everyone, welcome back to another photo review video. I really want to thank everybody for sending and submitting these images for me to review. It feels really good that you're trusting me with your images and taking my word and my advice. Like I said last time, I'm only trying to help. I'm really not trying here to insult anybody. These are images that mean something to you. I'm just looking at it from a technical point and from a photographer's point of view. So photography is subjective. You might think these are the best pictures out there, somebody else might not. I'm just going by what I know about stock photography and how to help you create images that sell. Let's get on with this real quick. So the very first image I have, that is a water splash. You know, that looks great. That is a great concept. Action shots, I made a video about this, how to get these images. This is a really cool picture. It will definitely get accepted. Let me check here. The focus is spot on. The image is great. Yeah, it's gonna get accepted and it might sell. One thing I would like to see happen here is add a concept. You know, yes, the water and the ice, that's great. You could add a cocktail, you could add beer, you could add anything you like, and these images will sell. If anything, maybe brighten up the background a little bit so it's completely isolated on white. Completely white images seem to sell more than not. So that's great job on this one. The isolating, the texture in the glass, that looks great. If there's anything I would do to this image is maybe add a little bit of contrast. That way you get it to pop a little more. You see the difference here in the bottom? It's not as flat, it pops. Let me compare it here before and after. That's it, just a little bit of contrast and it really pops. I can even bring out some of the highlights. Again, I'm working with a JPEG image, but you see here the corners, how they're a little bit darker. I would like to see that not there. But the image is great, it will sell. Like I said, add a concept, add a different glass, but just by adding a little bit of contrast, you see the difference in the reflection and the glow. It just pops a little more, and I like to see that. Beautiful. That's the next image. This is beautiful. It's a water drop. It's very well done. I see the reflection. I mean, it's a beautiful image. I don't need to add any contrast. It's perfect like it is. There are hundreds or thousands of images like this. This is a great way to learn what you're doing. It's very well done, but I don't see the potential. I have a similar image like this where I put a $100 bill in a bowl of water underneath and then drop the water. So that was a concept. So you can apply this technique to multiple concepts, currency going liquid, or you know, anything that you can think of that would make it a great concept, a great image. You already got the technique down, so why not bring it to the next level and add a concept to it? Those sell the most. Okay, next, this is Natural Bridge in Brookings, and this was taken with a cell phone. The only thing that I can see here is the dynamic range. See how the background, the time of day, I mean, it's great. The image seems it's 9 megapixels. Okay, so I'm trying to find, usually cell phones have soft edges, and right here in the bottom it's a little bit soft, so that's technical issues. So this image is not gonna get accepted because of technical issues. That's all I can tell you. Again, phones just don't have that quality that a camera has. You can see when I recover this, you can see the phone applied a filter and it didn't do the best job possible. So nope, this one is not gonna get accepted. It's not gonna generate any sales. It's a great location, great picture, but gear is lacking here. This is another cell phone image. I could see kind of like what they were going for here, but again, the horizon is not level, so we need to fix that. Best way is with the angle. You just drop where the water is and drop it, and now it crops it. It creates a level panorama or a level playing field, and we can go from there. But this image, again, you can see the halo, you can see refractions in the sky. That is 100% technology based. I can't even zoom in because the image is not large enough, but you can see up here there's banding in the sky, and that's gonna get that image rejected. So good in theory, it just did not work. And you can see here the halo from the sun. Phones apply a filter and it's just not gonna get accepted. I've already mentioned this in the previous video, a similar image, so let's just move on to the next one. That's pretty. That's in Glass Beach in Fort Bragg, California, and that is with the Canon M50. I could tell that the image is better. It's got good focus. The sun is a little blown out. This image, 20 megapixels. So it's not a raw image, so I can't recover the sun. You can see that there. I think it's great. I think this would sell. I'm gonna crop it maybe about that, just so I don't get the sun. I do like a little bit of glow here in the water, but just changing the crop will change the feel of the image. So to me, that's a much better image. You do want negative space, but because the sun is blown out, that image is not going to get accepted. There's refractions, there's not anything there. If I crop it like this, like I did before, that's going to change the feel completely, and I'm pretty sure this image would make it. Let me bring up here some of the shadows to get some detail here on the rock. I don't want that to be blown out. And that's it. That's pretty much all the fixing that I did from that to that. Changing the crop helped a lot. Adding a little bit more blue here by bringing the highlights down, that's going to make that image just pop a little bit more and get it accepted and hopefully generate some sales. So yes, this one I would say go ahead and try to sell it. That would work. Let's move on to the next. All right, so the next one, that looks like tamales and food and wine, and that looks good. The problem here is I see the reflections on the glass. It was taken with a flash and it was head on, which causes the shadows and all these refractions here, or the light was straight on, and that just causes that problem. I don't think it was a flash because this is not as diffused, but the lighting here is an issue. You can spend a little bit of time here, and where's the Band-Aid? And remove a lot of these glares and whatever. But the other issue with this image is the focus. It focused on the back, it focused on the leaf over here. This is your first, the peeled tamale. That's what you want to eat. That's where your eye goes to. It's the brightest part of the image, and that's where your eye goes. So because the focus is not where it should be, I'm gonna give this one a no. It's not gonna get accepted because it missed focus. Images of food, typical foods, when you travel foods, things like this, local, homemade, these sell a lot. So make sure to go out, take more pictures, go to your neighbor's house, see what they're cooking, but just don't miss that focus. Make sure you have the focus where it should be. That's what you're selling, it's the food. Next. Okay, so it focused in the back. So this image is not gonna get accepted. The image in the back is sharp. I can't really zoom in on the image. But the guys here in the front are a little bit sharp, blurred, a little bit out of focus. I believe it's a very wide angle lens, which is why everything looks so sharp. But when you get close, they're not in focus. So that's going to be a no. The image is great concept, great idea. It does look like a snapshot. You could have got a little bit closer and changed the composition slightly. But I don't see anything wrong that's obvious besides the focus. Misfocus is a killer, and this is not gonna make it. You could always, just for future reference, if you go to Lightroom and, level the buildings and level the image, it makes it a little bit better. It would have been a great seller, I believe, but it's just not gonna happen because of misfocus. So let me move on to the next one here. This is the next image. There's something weird going on here, and this is not going to get accepted. Again, this is a Samsung image, and I believe this was taken in portrait mode. Phones don't have that depth of field that a camera has. Phones do what's called computational photography. Cameras have optical things that change, and you get the bokeh with your lens on with your aperture, and it's front to back. Here, the phone tried to blur and separate the model from the background, but look at here, it's not done properly, and a phone just can't manage what a lens can do. They do great, but this is just not going to get accepted because it's missed on his legs, and it missed around here and over here, and even here is more blurred than here, so this is just not going to work. So nice try, but the phones just don't quite have that yet. You have to learn how to shoot manual. There's apps that you could download where you could shoot manually with your phone and get better results than if you just go through the native app. All right, so this one is really cool. I like the concept. There is a little bit of an issue with the sky in the background. You can tell it's been edited. It's with a Sony, but you can see here that I don't think the sky was replaced. I think it was just darkened. The idea is great. The leading lines, the composition is awesome. There's plenty of empty space, negative space for writers or editor to add anything, but the sky is just a little bit too dark, and you see the issues here on the trees. So Lightroom makes it super easy. I can brighten it some. I mean, I don't want to overdo it. It was overdone to begin with. Remember, it's later in the evening. The skies are going to be brighter. It just looks a little bit weird. That's why it's not going to get accepted. I don't have the raw image, or I could do a lot more with it. But just bringing it up like that, darkening the top and leaving some more light here in the bottom, that's going to help you. But the concept is great. The travel, the composition, I would have focused on the front one instead of on the back here. That would lead in. This is your main subject. Focusing here would have given you a better line, and it would have blurred these trees where those highlights would be hidden much better or much easier. But great idea, great concept. I think something like this would get accepted. Let me look at the settings. A 30th of a second at f2.8. That's a very wide angle lens. 28mm, which is why you can barely notice that that's out of focus. If it would have been an f11, everything would have been focused, but then that would have been like a 4 or 5 second image. It was very dark, I can see that, but I can see that the sky was manipulated as well. So that's a big no-no. It's not going to get accepted. The next image, that looks like a beautiful sunset with a Tamron lens and a telephoto lens. That looks cool. I don't know where that is, but it is out of focus. It's got motion blur. A 1/25th of a second at 200mm. That is tough. The image is not going to get accepted. It's blurry. It would have been a beautiful image, but it is just not happening. Even with VR or image stabilization, you want to at least have your focal length as your shutter speed. In this case, you could have dropped the f-stop. Everything is far away. You could drop. No, you can't really drop it. Pump the ISO up to 400. That would have given you 500th of a second. That would have definitely been a sharp image. Even a 200th of a ISO, it would have been at a 250 shutter speed, and that would have given you a clear, sharp image. But this one is blurry, and it's not gonna get accepted. That one's pretty. I have a few images like this accepted from a drone. Great. That's the best thing about a drone, is that they're sharp and the colors are great. The image looks fine. I would say yes, this would get accepted. If you want to make it a little bit better, wait for sunset or sunrise, depending on where you are in the world, for light to cast some light here on top of the waves, and that just looks awesome. But yeah, the image is great. It's gonna get accepted. I would have added a little bit more beach if possible. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it technically. It's sharp, it's focused, and it's clean. So yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, this is the next one. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's blurry or out of focus or something. What is going on? What was the settings? All right, so it might just be the lens, but it's not focused in anything. So this is gonna be a no. I don't know where it's at. I mean, the concept, the third world country kind of thing, that might help, but the image is not gonna accept it because it's blurry. The next one, I see a lot of garbage, but again, that's the same. Is that the same lens? Yes. Same place, same lens. It just looks like, yeah, there's something wrong with your lens, man. I would have that lens checked because there's something wrong with it. This is not normal. The settings are fine. You should be able to handhold that, and they're just not focused on anything. But this image is not going to get accepted. It's not going to sell. Again, the concept, what are we doing to the planet? That would be great. I would focus more on the trash here and then leave the other ones for the background, but it's just not gonna get accepted. Great idea, great concept, showing the trash, showing everything. Again, I would have made it more about the trash than the boats, but that's just me, and sadly something's wrong with that lens, and it's not gonna get accepted. So this is a cool concept, and I sold quite a few images like this. I don't know, the background is just, something's missing. That's a macro lens. I've done this and I've had a ton of images accepted. This one just has, the background just needs a little bit of something. I'm not sure what. Maybe if we desaturate the blue, it's a bit too, like a little bit too much. And I don't know if I don't think it's photoshopped. It might be, but I don't think so. But they just, the contrast and the stuff is just a little bit much, as you can see. If you want, you can just, here in Lightroom, you can just take the brush and instead of coloring like that, you could add you know, you could add the eyes or add whatever from here. Anyway, it's sharp. It might get accepted. The blue in the back is very distracting, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just the lighting. Adding more light to the prop here would have helped. But from a technical point of view, the image's focus is fine. It's sharp. It was shot at f4 at a 100 millimeter. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, I would just drop the blue and watch the blue a little bit, because that is like it pops. I want images that pop, but that's just a little bit too much. Maybe dropping the contrast would help. Just something to drop the blue a little bit. But like a change like this, that might help it. That looks a little bit better. It's something like that. That might help a little bit. But, you know, it just looks a little bit more natural. Let me go back to the original. Before and after, I think that looks a little bit more pleasing. That's a little bit too high contrast, so that might have a little bit more potential to sell. And that is it. That was the last image. I didn't realize it. I think I did pretty good with the time. I was trying to keep it faster and a little bit faster pace and slower, just so I don't waste your time. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. If you have any more images, send them. Keep them coming. I'm going to try to make a video like this every month, just to do the reviews and to maybe show you and help you a little bit more when it comes to stock photography. I have a lot of experience, I have a lot of sales, and this is something that I really want to help people get motivated into shooting a little bit of stock, and then from there going and doing whatever they want to do with photography. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.